Check it out. What's it all about?
Hello and welcome into this Monday's edition of Entertainment News here at MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel, our Twitch stream, and of course our Spotify podcast. We are here with another 3 topics in hand. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin, our co-host, John C. Walsh, sporting the new chair. The chair actually matches your top, John.
It does. It does. I regret getting the grey fabric.
Nah, it looks good. It looks good, man. It looks really good. It looks really comfy as well.
I says to you, Stephen, it is an XL.
Yeah.
I thought I was buying a regular, and it's a large XL. I'm not the tallest of gentlemen.
No, you might as well have comfort.
Stephen's 6 foot. My height's always an enigma, but I want to see him between 5'8" and 5'9".
John, as you know, my youngest daughter started nursery last week, and when we're sitting down having a meeting with obviously the teachers, they don't have adult chairs.
No. So you were like Billy Madison?
Oh, it was just ridiculous. I thought I was going to break it.
Well, I'm the opposite here.
Yeah.
I'm a 5'8", 5'9" gentleman sitting in an incredibly large chair. It's like Chris Farley with his jacket. And what was it called?
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy. Fat guy in a little coat. Not so small guy, but not a large guy in a very large fucking
Talking
chair.
about Tommy Boy, John, it just kind of sparked me into thinking,
it's so fucking long.
We have decided perhaps maybe just doing the Monday news show, Wednesday news show, which is a solo show you do, John, and perhaps maybe a Friday doing either watch-alongs or reviews. It's coming up to that sort of point where we can start doing
Can get
things
back
again.
into it.
Yeah, so we'll have a wee think about
We
that.
fought the law and the law won.
Yeah, for now.
And then we'll be back again. And then we'll win.
Yeah.
It will be very painful for you. Yeah, no, Stephen, I'm getting for it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
It's something we've not done in a little while, isn't it? And even maybe just a movie review, you know, the way we used to do them. Yeah. When we did them with Ruth as well, you know, we just sat and talked about all the elements that we like.
Long time ago when we was fab, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it works well. That it's always enjoyable as well to watch a movie and then talk about it, isn't it? So
it is.
Perhaps maybe not this
worse.
week, a bit obviously late notice at the moment, but it gives us time to think about what to watch and what we can review and stuff like that. John, I watched first time I watched it was King Richard, the Will Smith film. Thought it was fantastic.
Is that about Serena and Venus Williams, the father?
Yeah.
Won the Oscar, didn't it?
Yeah. That was
it led to the infamous Slapgate.
Yeah. But I liked it. I thought it was really good. First chance I got to see it, it was on Amazon, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I started watching right after Matrix Resurrections, and I gave up 10 minutes and I went,
Is that the second one?
It's the new one, the one that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
you're not a fan of that?
I don't know, I just can't.
I thought that was decent, I quite liked that.
I don't know.
As you know, I changed my entire desk setup because of Keanu Reeves' desk in that TV.
Setup,
the way the monitors were slanting back, I'm like, I like that.
They were in what do you call that, portrait mode, weren't they?
Yeah, I like that, but it was more the angle because I was having issues with eye fatigue at that time. I looked into it, and it since transpired that does indeed help your eyes. If you sit level with the top of the monitor or thereabouts and you slant it back, the eyes become less strained. And you know what?
It works.
It does work because my eyes are not as strained anymore. So thank you, Thomas Anderson. Thank you. What's she called now?
Is it Lana Wachowski.
Wachowski.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For bringing that into my existence, my life.
I'm not saying it's a bad film, John. It's just
it's a bit woke.
I watched it 2 years ago, and it was kind of just casually watching it, and then I watched it again. I tried to watch it again. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just because I watched quite a long film just prior to it, and I just didn't have the attention for it. I don't know. But
it's like all new films.
Yeah,
there's a degree of wokeness in it, and I've got a poster behind me. I'm a liberal left winger.
Yeah.
So I'm probably part of that.
No. Says on your screen.
No. No sexist, no racist, no fascist.
So. Talking about long films, John, we're going to be talking about RRR. Not talked about that in a week.
It's been a while since RRR. It's more Jawan.
Yeah, well, we were talking about SS Rajamouli last week, to be fair.
Yeah,
but it was more about him rather than RRR. But John, we are talking about Jawan again. We're talking about, obviously, it's a blockbuster sort of topic, and you're the man that talks blockbuster and box office and all that kind of stuff, all the facts and figures, and it's always very interesting, John. Do you know something? I've been thinking about it, bringing box office chat back, because I really did like doing those shows. I thought they were fantastic. Not that we were fantastic, just the topics in that were
we were
fantastic.
fantastic.
I thought it was good. It was very interesting, John.
Like when we had that wondrous single flat-looking shot, and we looked incredibly small because I hadn't discovered the zoom feature on the camera. I hadn't discovered how to take auto ISO off. I hadn't discovered how to white balance. In a sense, everything was set to auto.
And prior to us
was
appearing on screen, we did do an audio sort of video, didn't we? You did the graphics for it, and it came up. You heard our voices, but you didn't see our faces. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe
no, it was embarrassingly bad. I look at it now and I cringe. Absolute cringe.
Are they still there? They're still available?
They're still there, yeah. I'm not going to hide it, but I wouldn't advise you to go and watch it. Because it was, I mean, the voices were fucking James Earl Jones. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm not like James Earl Jones. I'm more.
Was the one I was watching, John?
I
sent you the link. I said, you're talking
so quick. Yeah, I feel as though when I watch myself now, people think I'm speaking quickly. Yeah. And they have trouble understanding me. And I have to laugh because if they went back 3 years ago, they would have had no chance. I now sound like I'm on marijuana and I'm like really relaxed.
You sound like the girl from Star Echoes.
Yeah, talk to me. Yeah. That's the way I sound now compared to what I used to say. I used to speak like that.
I couldn't believe it.
Do you remember that one where the spider crawled along the table, the reaction?
Was and I was trying to Ultra there? Yeah, I remember.
I was trying to get off.
Yeah, the adrenaline
as quickly as possible. I was speaking so quickly that even I was aware of it.
But John,
I don't know what they're talking about here.
The new Indian blockbuster Jawan
I do know.
is approaching a record set by last year's smash hit action epic RRR Jawan, which features Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan, also known as SRK, in a dual role, opened on September 7th and earned the highest grossing worldwide opening weekend for any Bollywood movie. It has already crossed the $100 million mark at the global box office, making SRK the only Indian star to lead $200 million movies. Obviously, his movie Patan passed that milestone earlier this year. Per Collider, our friends at Collider.
To be fair, I think if NTR Jr. or Ram Charan were to work together with SS Rajamouli again, they'd easily make that money twice in a year.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just, it's SRK.
The Jawan box office is reaching another milestone in the domestic market. The movie has already earned over $13 million at the domestic box office and is about to surpass RRR's total of $14 million. While Patan is still the highest grossing Indian movie at the domestic box office with $17 million, Jawan could potentially have the power to pass that total as well if all goes well. I think it will, John. I think it's fair to say. It's funny, we've not seen Jawan yet, so we can't say it is because it's a better film. We don't know that. Obviously,
I've got high doubts.
I've got
about it being a better film than RRR. I'm not going to lie.
I think so as well.
It's not a slight on SRK. It's just the movie. I just can't see how that's better than a Rajamouli movie.
All the elements in a Rajamouli movie in RRR.
I mean, the guy's an event director, Stephen. He doesn't direct a lot of movies. He hasn't directed a lot of movies. You could say SRK is an event actor.
Yeah.
And certainly coming off the back of a 4-year hiatus, every movie he releases now, until the sort of flame maybe fizzles out a little, he's going to be an event actor. Kind of.
John, we're obviously taking this from Screen Rant, but we actually have our own version of this report.
Why we're not using it?
I don't know why, but it's only went up maybe about an hour ago. It's yourself that obviously wrote it, John. Yeah. We did get a comment because we posted it on the community tab. So there is a comment on our YouTube channel. I don't know who it is that made the comment, but I did see it popping up earlier on.
Endeavour to bring that up right now.
In terms of
should bring that up right now.
The topic in hand. So it does.
What is it? Gravy?
Yeah, it's VS.
VS QS5DU with a little purple love heart, which means receive one of the highest number of hearts from you. I think you could probably put that next to most people's names because we do tend to heart everybody.
Yeah. Just to clear the board.
Yeah, just to clear it. Just like it. Jawan, even if they're attacking us, we'll love heart it.
Yeah.
Because it's like
sometimes I go, nice one. Stuff like that. Yeah, cool man.
Cool chief. You like the word chief, Stephen. Whereas I just have to hold every semblance of my anger back. Like Anakin before he kills all of those sand people. Yeah. That's me. When I read something, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'll kill you with words. I'm going to, like a tailless monk, become the force is with me. I am, what is it again? I am one with the force is with me. I can't remember it. That's me. zen-like. But anyway, I digress. This is what they had to say. Jawan is a perfect example of how media spins poorly made movies into some sort of spectacle. It's a horrendous movie, which no one has liked, but marketing, PR, hype generated can make you think it's some sort of magnum opus. I think that's maybe a little bit too far to say no one likes it, because we're going to just have a little jump over to Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm hoping this is the correct Jawan, because we were here before. And as you can see, Stephen, 90%, 29 reviews from the critics liked the movie.
Yeah,
it's rated fresh, and the audience 1,000 plus reviews, and 88% of that audience have rated
That's the one I always go with.
Yeah,
that's the one that counts as far as I'm concerned.
Factually, I'm afraid to say that just doesn't hold much weight. It doesn't stand up to much scrutiny.
It doesn't add up, John. I get some people not like it. I get some people won't like it, John.
Oh, I mean, of course,
they're entitled to not like it.
It's all subjective.
So I mean, it's
and some people just do not like that, Stephen. What that guy's saying there, marrying the personal with the political. They don't like this political element seeping into films. And look, Lord knows we've spoke about that in Western cinema. I says it earlier, kind of jesting, wokeness, identity politics, bringing in things that are current day. Fair enough, it's a current day film or it's a political film and you're trying to make a statement, you're trying to portray a message to the masses. But if it's a science fiction film set 100, 1,000 years in the future, or it's some period piece set 100, 200, 300, 1,000 years in the past, stop bringing current day elements into the movie. It takes people out of it. People go to the theatres to see something to take their minds off of the mundanity of modern life. Stop bringing them back into the mundanity of modern life.
Some might say that was the issue with the latest Indiana Jones
exactly,
film,
Steve, by injecting all this shite in.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get people not liking the political, marrying with the personal. But most people like this film.
Jawan, I've not seen it yet, so I don't really want to say anything too much, but it's going to have to take a hell of a lot of turning our heads to think it's a better film than Triple R, and I don't think it's going to be. I've got a feeling it's not going to be better than Triple R in terms of storyline, production, chemistry with the actors, and just the way it was structured as well. It was almost a perfect film. There was few little things in there that niggled us, John, in terms of the villains, but it wasn't really about the villains. It was about these two guys. That was a focus. That's what you should have been concentrating on. But I can't remember what we rated it, John, at the time.
Triple R?
Triple R, yeah.
Oh, I think I rated it very highly.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both did, John. But as I said, Jawan, it's going to have to be an absolute masterpiece to be a better film.
Oh.
In terms of what the chap says on YouTube, it's how a film is marketed, its success in terms of box office, and that's what we're basing this on.
We're going to speak about that again at the end of the show.
Yeah,
with a video game.
Yep.
How marketing and hype can, I don't know, almost inflate a game's worth.
In terms of music as well. See, when someone says the best selling such and such of all time, doesn't impress me. Doesn't impress me.
Today it doesn't.
No.
It's got the most views on YouTube. Have you seen the views on YouTube? Yeah. But I'm not going to shit in bands like BTS, because I'll admit I've got a sort of guilty pleasure light of a couple of their songs. They're just catchy. I mean, they're nonsense. They're Korean. You don't expect them to be injecting like weighty human stories into their lyrics. That's not their first language. They're singing in a second language. But some of the tunes are catchy. You'll hear it in the radio and it's like, the way they harmonise and stuff like that is pretty catchy. But these guys are racking up billions of views on YouTube.
Yeah.
You're not telling me these songs are better than a Beatles song or a Rolling Stone song or a Bob Dylan song.
We're talking about performance. We're talking about how it performs at the box office.
Yeah.
We're not talking about how good the film is.
And in terms of how it's performing at the box office, it is going to overtake Triple R in the United States, Stephen.
Yeah.
And perversely, I think that's down to Triple R bringing Indian films into people's minds, into the forefront.
Shah Rukh Khan's probably a more household name as well, John, in the West.
Forefront, sorry. Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, for now, anyway. He's been at the forefront of the Western world. The name rolls off your tongue. It has for the past 20, 30 years, this guy's name, in the Western world. So he has that pull as well. It's not just about, obviously, the PR and the marketing. It's about this man's name.
And he's been away for 4 years.
He's a walking, talking PR machine. Yeah, and he has been.
He's one of the greatest actors on the planet, Steve, and his charisma sort of embodied. when this guy takes a 4-year break, comes back and makes 2 movies hot on the heels of each other, they're going to make massive money. And you've seen it. He was electrifying the south of India, the north of India, international territories. And it's all, I mean, the fucking director says it. Is it Atlee? I think that's the director, isn't it, of Jawan? He was asked about it. He says it's Shah Rukh Khan. It's all about him.
Yep.
So even the director's admitting it's Shah Rukh. He is the main factor. Now, for down south in India, I think the telepathy cameo and also Vijay Sethupathi potentially playing a villain in the movie.
Yeah.
That's a big drawing factor. They're 2 big South Indian names. But you arm that with SRK, obviously Deepika Padukone, you've got the sort of ravenous, hormonal teenage boy element as well coming in to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes based on what I see on Twitch and on YouTube and places like that. Maybe even older hormonal guys who, what's the saying, get out and touch some grass. Maybe they fucking should, because they are certainly drawn to thumbnails. You've seen that before.
Yeah.
What was it? Strangely enough, it was a young girl, actress from Logan.
Logan, yeah.
Putting her on a thumbnail and you were getting like 500 views a video. I'm like, this girl's 15.
Yeah, weird.
You fucking weird predatory fuckers. Stay away. It's 2 adult guys speaking about movie news. She ain't here. You weirdos. But I guess I'm to blame, I suppose, by putting her on the thumbnail. I knew what I was doing.
Really, John, I don't think you
and Atlee and obviously Shah Rukh knew what they were doing by bringing Deepika in, because she is definitely an attraction for a certain element of the movie-going audience. So there's many things made this movie the sort of hype monster that it is.
Deepika Padukone, was she in that horror film we watched?
She was in
I can't remember what
Patan.
it's called. It was the horror one we watched with Ruth. The one where the pit.
The pit? No, the pit was that.
Was she in that?
Tumbad?
I think she was in that.
Was she?
I think so, John. I may be havering here, but it's just when you mentioned her name, I was just thinking of Tumbad there, and I was thinking, I couldn't remember.
She was in it then, I tell you what, man. She had a small role.
I thought, was she in that film? Maybe she wasn't.
No,
maybe I got it
so.
wrong.
Is that the right Tumbad?
It might have been. Maybe I was thinking of someone else, John. Maybe I was thinking of someone else.
Oh, she was in Patan. She was in Padmavat.
Yeah.
She's a brilliant actress. Also a very good looking woman as well. There's no doubt about it. And she's always, we've seen this with telepathy movies. They bring Trisha in, they bring in Samantha, they bring in, God, what's the other one? I always forget her name. Pooja Hedge. Is it Pooja Hedge? Yeah, she was in Beast, wasn't she? And a lot of the times they're not utilising these actors to the level we know they can utilise them to. We've seen it in Triple R, fuck's sake, with Alia Bhatt. They don't utilise the female actors quite like they should in a lot of these big blockbuster indie movies. Sometimes they are like side stories, they are throwaway.
A lot in Joseph Vijay's movies, quite a bit. You know, and sometimes it can be quite annoying because you know what they're capable of.
Well, Samantha and Trisha.
Trisha was in. I'm going to have an absolute nightmare.
Trisha was in 96.
Well. She was in 96, obviously, with Vijay Sethupathi, which we saw her acting credibilities. I think that was the first film we saw how good she is and how good she can go toe to toe with a great actor like Vijay Sethupathi.
It wasn't until we watched The Family Man we seen what Samantha was capable of.
Yeah.
We'd seen it in a movie before, I'm sure, with telepathy. So sometimes they do bring in these brilliant female actresses and they just use them as a promotional tool for their looks to bring in eyeballs from a certain demographic. So it's a multitude of things. I don't agree with that comment at all in the comments section that says that it's just been overhyped and that it's not a good movie, no one enjoys it. If it's overhyped because it says SRK, whether the movie's content is worthy of that hype, and we can't attest to just now because we've not actually seen the movie yet.
I think we can base it on over 1,000 plus
saying
reviews
80%
from the public who regard it very highly.
And it's neither here nor there because it is going to overtake Triple R at the box office in the United States. In terms of overall grossings, I think Triple R's safe, Stephen.
Yeah.
And I was going to speak about that. Do you feel Triple R was marketed quite as well in the West as, say, this SRK movie and also Patan before it?
No.
Do you feel like it got as consistent a run at the box office? Because for me, it felt like it came out, it ended its run, it got Oscar buzz, it came out again. It had about 2 or 3 runs.
More than anything, John, with Triple R. It was like a wave. It went
Couple of waves.
It went across the globe. It was nothing like pre-planned marketing in terms.
I mean, it was out here day one. Don't get me wrong, but I think outside of the Indian community,
it was more sort of talk, you know, and then just the rumblings, and it grew and grew and grew into an extraordinary sort of numbers, just eyeballs, the attention it was seeking at that point.
Eyeballs.
Yeah, just fantastic, you know. And then you see it, John, especially where we're positioned, because we are in the middle between India and the US, and you know, we see that wave coming right across us, coming right across Europe, and right across, obviously, the Atlantic, right over to John Campea, etc.
United, oh fuck yeah. And he doesn't watch it for more than 15 minutes. Clown.
The amount of reaction channels and movie news shows that we watch across YouTube that made us doing what we're doing today. When they start talking about an Indian film, that's when you know it's reached their shores and they're all talking about it. And you saw that with RRR.
Just them though, it was directors and actors and industry figures in the United States will watch the movie.
Jawan, it's a totally different thing altogether. It's in terms of promotion. It's more a purpose-built promotion before the film even reaches these shores, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like most films are done, you know. RRR was a unique film as well in terms of when it came out as well. We've just came out of this pandemic lockdown. It's a massive blockbuster film to come back out of lockdown, out of people are excited to get back into theatres across the world, not just in India.
I'd love to see if Cin's seen Jawan yet. I wish Cin would come in.
Yeah.
She was
going to see it.
She's probably seen it before us. But yeah, Steve, you're right with RRR. RRR came out at the perfect time. Huge blockbuster. Brilliant movie. Brilliant story. Riveting about these two guys. Incredible flashback sequences. Sort of tinge with emotional heartbreak and poignancy. And then just incredible action set pieces. And when people did watch it, it just grew like wildfire, word of mouth. I've not seen that with Jawan, I have to say, in terms of the Western sphere, but obviously it's doing very well because it's about to topple RRR's box office in the United States. So I think, again, that's just the SRK factor. This guy's fucking one-man box office machine, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he speaks for himself. His career speaks for itself. And we spoke about it. This guy's been on TV, chat shows over here 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So he's renowned in Western spheres.
Yeah. And
his name speaks for itself. And that's why this movie's doing as well as it is. Ultimately, I asked a question on the thumbnail. Is Jawan better than RRR? I've not seen Jawan, so I can't say. But I don't think I have to see it to say with about 90% confidence that RRR's a better movie.
And at the end of the day,
I just feel like it is.
Guys, it's what you think.
Have you seen the two movies?
If you've seen both movies, you let us know what you think.
What was your thoughts? Am I
constructive about it?
Yes. I'd love to see what QS or whatever their name was, what their thoughts would be on VS. QS5DU. Get a proper name, please. That is brutal. It may be a sort of acronym of your name with some meaningful numbers in there. But it doesn't mean much to me, my friend. So if you can sort that out, that'd be brilliant. Then it can ring off the tongue, you know. I don't know how things ring off your tongue, but I'm going to say that's a turn of phrase and I've not butchered it. Make it so it can ring off my tongue a bit better. I'd love to know what he thinks of RRR and Jawan.
Yeah.
How would they stack them against each other? Is it like try to wrestle or try to put, I don't know, Muhammad Ali in a ring with Floyd Mayweather? It just wouldn't work with it. One's 6'3" and a big heavyweight. The other one's like 5'6" and a little fucking lightweight.
Yeah.
I don't know much about boxing, but it's a mismatch.
Yeah. A mismatch made in heaven. Yeah. John, we're going to move on anyway to our next topic.
Stairways to heaven.
I feel like we're going round in circles with Martin Scorsese, that is. He says
Marty
the
McFly.
movie industry is over. Don't you be a smarty, Marty. This is coming in from Hollywood reporter John. Martin Scorsese talks impact of Hollywood blockbusters on cinema. Well, the industry is over. We might as well just go home then. Killers of the Flower Moon director told GQ magazine the major studios no longer support.
How small is that, right? Holy shit. Let's zoom in again.
As they see better risk and return from easier to market tentpole franchises. We'll get into it in a little minute, John. I'll say these couple of paragraphs here.
It's a Debbie Downer, is Martin.
Yeah,
he's starting to rile me.
That face and that picture that looks painted. It's a painted smile. It's that face app that puts an instant smile on your face. That's not real. Martin Scorsese isn't especially happy with what Hollywood effects-driven popcorn movies have done to the film industry. He helped pioneer with iconic box office hits like Taxi Driver and Mean Streets. Well, the industry is over, Scorsese told GQ magazine in an interview, conducted ahead of the release of his latest film, Killers of the Flower Moon. In other words, the industry that I was part of, we're talking almost, 50 years ago. It's like saying to someone in 1970 who made silent films, what do you think happened? He argued. Scorsese added that the major studios, I'm getting bored of this already, preferred it easier to market. I'm getting depressed reading this actually. Market popcorn movies that have franchise potential no longer have interest in supporting individual voices that express their personal feelings or their personal thoughts and personal ideas and feelings on a bigger budget. What happened now is that they're pigeonholed into what they call indies. You know what to do, Martin? Put your films on Netflix. Put all your films on Netflix.
I bet even yet make a really, really compelling and interesting independent story that isn't a franchise with big special effects that you can't eat popcorn when you're watching, and get one of these studios. Sorry, I've just clicked the wrong thing. Incidentally, that's the way we really look, and you can see the actual sign behind me I was talking about. No sexist, no racist, no fascist. But anyway, back to this, and see if it can get success, because if you make a really good, compelling story, an interesting movie that's exquisitely written about these weighty elements you're talking about, it's not got a Cape Crusader or a fucking flying shield, or it's not, I don't know, trying to think of an example here, a bow and arrow. That was what was that called again? One with Jennifer Lawrence, Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, yeah.
If it's not that, and it's something that's really, I don't know, human condition drama, something that you'd make, Martin, surely these studios will have no problem putting it out there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what people want ultimately. They want to see really good films. It doesn't matter what the content is. They want to see really well-made films. And look, that's been borne out in current day, because not a lot of people are going to see Marvel films like they did 5 years ago. They're not going to see DC films like they did ever. I'd argue, because no one ever really did go and see DC films in big numbers. That's why they keep chopping and changing things, and Peter Safran and James Gunn are now in charge of DC because it was a shambles. People aren't going and watching these movies because they're not good anymore, Stephen. It's plain and simple. They're not like they were in 2016, 2015, 2014.
As well, John. I think
you make a bad film, no one's going to watch it.
There's too much risk involved for the studios to go down that road now, in terms of what money they put behind a film and the risk it takes. And you still, every film that goes out is a risk. I get that, and even the franchises and the comic book ones have that risk, and some of the times they fail. We've seen it, we've talked about it. In terms of where Scorsese's coming from, John, he's been part of it. We're talking about 50 years ago. The world has changed.
Times change. I was just thinking at walk my dog. Technologically, we're in a different universe now to what we were in the 90s.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the 90s and the 80s. I was listening to a song on my AirPods, and I'm like, fucking hell, man, it's well where we are now. I remember when I was a kid, video cassettes, cassette players, CD players,
television.
This is what we had.
Yeah.
Phones that were like that. Now we've got everything, the entire knowledge of humanity at our fingertips on a tiny little phone.
John, the generations coming through now see television as a random sort of facility. I don't know what the correct terminology would be, John, but they see television as they're deciding what I'm watching, like the radio does. You don't decide what you're listening to. The DJ will do that for you, and television's much the same. Kids nowadays are like, I don't need anyone to tell me what I want to watch. I'll go and watch what I want to watch, either on YouTube,
TikTok,
Prime, Netflix, TikTok, whatever. It's all at their fingertips now, and it's the same in the movie industry as well, John. There's room for everything. There is room for everything. There always has been. We talked about it. Scorsese was probably at his sort of peak point when Star Wars came out.
Yeah, late 70s,
and Spielberg started, doing Jaws and Raiders of the Lost Ark, etc.
This is where the whole argument falls apart, Stephen.
Yeah, these films have always existed. They
Popcorn
have
flicks,
in the last 50 years.
blockbuster films, Jaws, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
There's just
Halloween.
There's a lot more of them now because they can do that. They can churn them out now.
But Stephen, there's a lot more because they work. They're successful. They're making money. It's a business.
Yeah.
Martin should know this.
I think Martin...
It's driven by financial elements, and if your movies aren't making money, the genre isn't making money, the studios aren't going to greenlight it, they're not going to make money off of it. These studios are putting investments of 80 to 150, 200, 250 million dollars into each movie, and they need to make back $750 million just to make a tiny profit.
I still think there's
You're not going to do that with a rom-com.
But I still think there's an audience out there, John, for
There is.
indie films, for unique storytelling. There is, and I think
Look
that's
at
where he's
Gianni,
wrong.
Stephen.
Yeah.
The guy compiles a list every year.
Yep.
Very few big blockbuster movies in there. They're all independent, brilliant movies. Nick Cage is doing zany, brilliant independent movies. Guys like Robert Eggers, they're not blockbuster flicks. They're independent style movies. A24 have produced some of the best movies I've seen in my life in the last 10 years.
I think
they're independent movies.
I think his argument does fall flat, as you said, John, but I think Scorsese's looking at it from a selfish point of view, I think, here. He's not got the pull, he's not got the sort of
That's tough.
control that he probably once had in terms of when his films can be released, because those windows are getting smaller and smaller with every blockbuster that comes out. I would have to say that, and I think you'll agree, that we get more blockbusters in 1 year now than we did 50 years ago, when you're probably only getting one, maybe two a year.
Yeah.
You're getting maybe about, don't know,
getting more films now.
maybe about
period,
7
though,
or 8 per year now. Maybe that's a bit excessive, but you're definitely getting a lot more.
But you know what? I'm going to check something here because I'm intrigued to find something out here. I've keep fucking pressing the wrong thing. Go back to that. I'm going to bring something up here. Box office top, I don't know, top 10 box office movies 2023. I want to see what they are in terms of style of movie, genre. Are they independent? Are they not independent? What kind of films? Barbie number one. You could say that's a blockbuster film. I don't think that is a blockbuster film. That's a Greta Gerwig independent story about something different, something original.
But a well-known...
Yeah, it's a well-known franchise,
brand,
but they're subverting it and telling a really interesting story with this brand. And they've turned it into an absolute huge hit. Nearly 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant independent story. It's not what anybody thought it was going to be when you seen Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie zipping about this promenade at this beach with luminous clothes on and a fucking roller skates. No one's seen that coming. The Super Mario Bros. Movie, fair enough, that's an animated thing, but that's Super Mario. I mean, Mario speaks for itself. That's an iconic video game character that spanned multiple generations. Oppenheimer, independent film. Christopher Nolan. Guardians, fair enough, but it's a really good fucking film.
Based on a well-known
historical figure.
And I think what Scorsese's talking about is unique storytelling. I think that's where he's basing this argument on.
I mean, you could say that's the, but it's still unique.
Yeah.
He's adapting it and he's putting his own flourishes on it. He's telling the story about an interesting guy. He's bringing this guy's story to a new bunch of people who maybe didn't care or maybe didn't have access to what this guy had accomplished in his life. Now they know by watching that film. Nolan is an independent filmmaker. This guy ain't a franchise filmmaker. You could say Batman, fair play. Even then, he was making Batman completely different to what we'd ever seen before.
Oppenheimer's probably not the best example, John, but I think the likes of, as you said, Tenet or Inception, very unique storytelling.
Yeah, of course. And usually he does do very unique stories. Yeah. I mean, fair play, you get through this list, it is mostly box office. You've got this, I think.
Flash.
I don't know what
the
that
Nun
is.
2.
The Nun 2 is dreadful.
Evil Dead. I mean, they are all...
Yeah, they are kind of blockbuster.
I get what you're saying in terms of that, John, but there is some
Jawan's
good films, and I don't think
incidentally.
2023 is probably if you're going maybe a few years back, you will pick out some unique films there, unique filmmaking and unique storytelling.
Yeah.
You know?
But look, Stephen, that's the way of every medium. That's the way of everything that can be consumed by consumers, funnily enough. They evolve and they change over the decades. They go from this sort of analog thing to a digital, and then they become sort of, I don't know, what do you call it? What's the name of it again? Cloud-based.
Cloud-based, yeah.
And we're kind of seeing that. We've seen it with music. It's now cloud-based. Everyone's listening to it on these services. There's no real physical media. It's the sort of hardcore that are keeping the vinyl collections and things like that happening. You see it with film as well to an extent. You've got the hardcore that are keeping Blu-rays, but all the video shops that you could rent and buy films from are all gone. You see it with games now. You're buying consoles. I've not got a fucking CD drive on my PC now. It's all digital.
Yeah.
Film's the next natural thing. It's moved into streaming for better and worse. And now, I mean, we're getting brilliant independent stories get told in these streaming services. It evolves. What the people want changes. It's cyclical. But ultimately, you have to get with it. The guys like Tarantino are still doing the analog thing. They're doing it well. No one's doing it. But the main people have moved over to digital, and they've just went with the industry and what the industry wants. If you want to make cool, introspective sort of human stories, independent stories like, I don't know, Scorsese was doing 40 years ago, there is someone there who will be willing to do it for you. You go to A24, they'll provide you the platform. If it's too fucking dear, like The Irishman, and they can't get $400 million to make a movie, go to Netflix, go to Amazon, the story will be told, people will see it. There is still enough eyeballs out there, enough screenings for these movies to succeed. We're seeing interesting stories performing alongside Marvel movies, beating them a lot of the times. Like say Jumanji, you could say it's a franchise blockbuster movie, but it was an interesting take on a classic film from the mid-90s.
Exactly, yeah.
And it beat Star Wars at the box office. Well, momentarily anyway. So it can be done.
Yeah.
I go back to what I said at the start. Make interesting, brilliant movies and they'll succeed. People will want to go and watch them. Look at Triple R.
I don't know why this is resurfaced again, John. I saw it across multiple platforms today. I thought, what's he going on?
He's always fucking whinging, isn't he? Let's be honest.
About it again. And I like his films. I do like his films a lot, and I will watch it. I will watch anything that this guy brings out. But he's got to know his place. He's got to know his place in today's filmmaking.
That's Harley Snowden.
Yeah. Wow.
Stephen, he replaced guys like Hitchcock, and I'm trying to think of other ones off the top of my head. I don't know. Not Kubrick, because Kubrick was floating around until the early 2000s with Eyes Wide Shut, wasn't he?
Yeah, 99, I think.
There was passing of batons happening. It changes, the industry changes, what people want changes.
I don't want him to be remembered as a bitter old man, and that's the way he's coming across.
Oh, but it's cyclical, Stephen. People are liking superhero, big blockbuster movies, but it will change. The industry is changing right now. They're making flop after flop after flop. That will alter the way that studios do their business.
Yeah.
If they see that people aren't turning up to watch these Marvel movies, they aren't turning up to watch these big, flamboyant, balls to the wall CG fest movies, then they're going to have to change their strategies, what they're spending, and then ultimately they're going to have to look at what people actually want. Do they want movies like Barbie, where it is a little bit smaller in scale and it's interesting stories? I mean, Barbie's basically a remake of fucking Truman Show with a slightly different story. Truman Show came out, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
That's an example of an interesting, independent, unique story being told. I've not seen anything like that before.
25 years ago, yeah.
25 years ago.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Fucking Blumhouse are doing it with horror.
Yeah.
They make a movie for $10 million. It's an interesting, independent movie. It makes $100, $300, $400 million. People will watch the movie if it's good.
Exactly. And word of mouth is always a big thing as well with these films. I think so anyway.
Sadly, Martin is one of the goats. But the current generation have no respect for goats. They're making their own goats.
But John, I think that's got to work both ways. And Spielberg has been very vocal in the streaming services as well. It's been very anti-streaming.
Which is weird because he gave him The Irishman.
Yeah, it's strange.
Really obviously Spielberg is as well. He's another example. But Spielberg, to be fair, is making, to this day, really interesting, independent, unique stories.
And he's done stuff for Apple as well.
He has.
So I don't really understand where they're coming from. They've just got to suck it up, I'm afraid, and just get on with it.
I don't believe the industry's over.
No, I don't think so. I think
it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's just...
Tell that to Paul Greengrass. Tell that to Christopher Nolan. Tell it to Boon Joon-ho. Tell it to Quentin Tarantino, Greta Gerwig, Robert Eggers, Ari Aster. Who created Did Minari? Who was the other one? The Korean American one that came out.
Yeah.
Brilliant Korean American director. It was another one though.
Can't remember.
Also get it, an A24 movie. Tell it to these directors that the industry's over, that you can't get interesting, unique, non-franchise movies into theatres seen by people and making money. It's fucking nonsense. You can.
And these studios are taking the chance on these projects, John. So, and they're part of the industry. So to say it's over, I think, is a bit.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah. It's
Jojo
a bit
Rabbit.
extreme. Yeah, exactly.
Came out a couple of years ago. Made money. Don't know what they're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about, Martin.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love you, mate. You're one of the greatest.
Yeah.
But you don't have to talk some amount of shit at times.
Mm-hmm.
For a guy that's so switched on about film,
Yeah.
my God, man, you love to fucking whine.
Yeah. We're going to move on, John, to our final topic anyway. And it's a bit of gaming news coming in. We have talked about Starfield a couple. Well, I think you have. I've not spoken
I spoke very warmly of it the last time I discussed it, but my opinion has maybe changed since then. I've not played it.
Since we've played it.
No, I've not played it. I've played it for a couple of hours and I've not been back.
Starfield is now lower rated than Fallout 76. I've not played Fallout 76. Last one I've
heard it was terrible.
I think. But
it's online, 76. It's
coming from Game Rant. I think it's part of the Screen Rant branch, John. I think they branched off. The copy does that. We were doing that 4 years ago.
That's actually a really nice logo. I like that quite a bit. I like the way they've kept the vibe, but it's slightly different. I really like that.
But Starfield has now fallen below Fallout 76 to become Bethesda's lowest rated game on Steam with a view rating of 71.37%. It trails behind Fallout 76 rating of 71.76%, which some may be quick to declare Starfield's rating a worrisome trend for Bethesda game studios. It should be remembered that Fallout 76 had a worse launch compared to Starfield, and it took a multi-year effort from its development team to redeem Fallout 76 in the eyes of the community and unlock the game's full potential. There's a tweet coming in from Culture Crave there, John.
Yes.
The article, the screen capture there.
It's dropped below Fallout 76 on Steam DB.
Yeah.
It's now the lowest rated Bethesda game ever.
Yeah.
Don't know about that.
Compared to Fallout 76, Starfield has a much higher floor and by the same virtue, a much higher ceiling. Given its nature as a single-player game, a lot of its shortcomings may end up fixed through mods once official modding tools for Starfield release in early 2024. Despite the review ratings on Steam being lower than other Bethesda's releases, Starfield remains one of the platform's most popular titles, easily having over 100,000 players on a daily basis. Currently, the highest-rated Bethesda game on Steam belongs to the Elder Scrolls franchise. Been around for a long time.
Skyrim's got to be the highest, hasn't it?
Yeah, Morrowind, Oblivion and Skyrim all enjoying an overwhelming positive 93% review rating. That being said, even if exploring the settled systems isn't as perfect as fans hoped, the numbers imply that Starfield is still an entertaining game with better Starfield mods as well as an official content packs such as the upcoming Shattered Space expansion. Players should expect the latest Bethesda's title trend up in the future. Yeah, give it time, I suppose that's what they're saying. But
yes,
John, I mean, we could have been sitting here 10 years ago when GTA 5 came out for the online games and we would have been tearing it shreds, I suppose, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We'd have been, what an absolute shit show.
Oh, because it was a shit show,
Rockstar,
Steve.
get your act together. You've released this game and it's not even online ready. That is a disgrace. There is issues with Starfield, John. There's no denying that.
Oh, I mean, it's clunky, Stephen, but if you've played one Bethesda game, you've played them all, really, haven't you? You've got these fucking lifeless, crazy animations, the weird stairs, just the clunky mechanics. You pick things up.
Yeah.
It's fucking worthless. You can't really sell it. There's no real meaningful economy. Fast travel galore. Stephen, I mean, I tried to get into it. I tried to immerse myself. The first hour or two, I convinced myself I was immersed. But then I don't know. I think it's me, though. I think it's a me problem, not a Starfield problem.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'm built for...
You don't get the time anymore.
I'm just not built for role-playing games anymore.
Yeah.
I just can't be fucking arsed with them.
I think that's a good point, though. I mean, there was a time, John, you and I loved the Fallout games, and I've not went back since Fallout 4.
I love Fallout 3, Stephen. I spent a long time playing it. But I was probably about 19 when that came out.
More time in your hands,
Fallout 4, I just couldn't stick it.
Yeah.
I tried. I lasted about a day or two, and I just got short of it. The building, the stuff fucking infuriated me. I just couldn't. I wasn't having it. It was just clunky, messy.
Yeah.
Not for me. I've never tried Fallout 76. I've not been on an online role-playing game since, I think, World of Warcraft. where I had real addiction.
2006,
2006, that fucking scarred me for life. And I was on it for like 7 months.
It took a holiday to Crete to get you off it.
Yeah, it broke the cycle and I never went back. Never went back, and I'm glad. It was a great game. Loved it too much, so it was like crack. And I really did become a DD character. I really, like, a year and a half, 18 months of just borderline hermit existence.
I think you're absolutely right.
Because of that game.
Of you, it's more of a you problem or a me problem.
It definitely is,
rather than the game itself. Because
the games get problems as well, Stephen. It's not with it.
Yeah, but they'll improve, John. The beauty of online gaming is they can fix these things. They can obviously mod them. It's not like the old days. You buy a game, you're stuck with the game.
No, I mean, Stephen, the Oblivion games, not the Elder Scrolls games, that's the one I'm looking for. They've always been modded to hell. Even Fallout's been modded. Skyrim's a completely different experience now to when it came out.
Yep.
There's already mods out for this. Strange mods, I have to say. Some of them I've not really dabbled with.
Indeed. Yeah. What cool, your mama.
Making characters' buttocks more round. Who gives a fuck about that? You're playing a game. What is wrong with you? You weirdo. It's just weird mods out. But they've got the sort of script, what the hell they call it again? Extender. So you're going to get mentalness in soon, and then also when they open it up officially to modding next year, it'll basically turn into a Star Wars game. That's guaranteed.
I think that's what developers do nowadays, though. They will release what they think is probably the best version of the game to the public, and then they will listen to the public. We talked about it last week in terms of Rockstar's GTA 5, its 10-year anniversary. The game it was 10 years ago to the way it is now is so different. And it's just that development and obviously add-ons and just listen to what people want, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same for Starfield as well. It will develop, it will get better, but at the moment I'm like you, I'm not really impressed. I think it is clunky. I think it's a little bit boring, to be honest with you. It's just one of these games where I thought there was going to be a lot more.
You know what doesn't help it either, Stephen? You've not got a map. That's so annoying.
You're flying about just looking for the clothes. It takes, I don't know if it's the same for you, but it took a long time just to get to another fucking planet. Yeah, you have to go to the menu and then fast travel and then but then I landed next to the actual place I was wanting to go to. Get out and it was just wilderness. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Place because I couldn't be bothered. I'm like, but it was meant to be New Atlantis and it was like a fucking jungle. And then I realised I'd selected something right next to, so I had to get back into the map and then select it and then land, and then a big city appears out of nowhere. It's just weird. I think this is another example, Stephen, of what we spoke about previously, about overhyping, hyping things up. People waiting so long for something that what they have conjured up in their mind's eye can never ever be replicated by the devs, the developers. They can never possibly provide them with what they had envisaged for this game. It was the same with Hogwarts Legacy. People had it in their mind's eye that it was going to be a fucking simulator for going to Hogwarts, which the developers never ever promised. It says exactly what it was going to be. And then when people got it, they're like, why can I not go to classes all the time? Why are the students disappearing at 8 o'clock at night? Why, when I go to the dorms, are they not lying in their bed sleeping? Why have we got no real reason to stay in the school? Because it's a fucking action-adventure game. You're playing this sort of super heroic student that gets expedited with their education, and then they move out of the castle and or the Hogwarts and start doing what they've got to do, progressing through the story. It's not a Hogwarts simulator, you fucking cretin. And it's the same with this. I don't know what people had. Again, I came into this late, Stephen. I only discovered this game existed 3 days before it released. It was the same, John. I didn't see much.
People had been waiting a decade for this.
I think it might have been Limmy. I saw him talking about it. I went, what is this? And then I thought, well, if he's interested in it, I don't think he was 100% on board with it.
I don't think he's going to play it.
No, but I just felt no. But it's on Game Pass, John. I think that's one of the reasons I just gave it a go. I don't think I would have forked out.
No, I wouldn't. I would not. If I had spent 60 or 50, 60 pounds, I would be getting a refund. I'm telling you that right fucking now.
Game Station.
There's no chance I'd spend
something off the second shelf.
This is why you pay for Game Pass. Yes, it costs me £15 a month or whatever. But you see games like this, and then you're like, nope. And then that's it, you leave. You go and play one of the other fucking 300 games on it.
John, I always go back to cities.
There's a new one coming out.
Yeah.
Second one's coming out shortly.
Coming out, yeah. And that pays for it, the £15 a month. Just to play that for a couple hours.
I get my Dead by Daylight through it.
Yeah,
I could have bought it fucking long ago and saved myself money, but you know what? I don't care. What else have to? Also FIFA as well, EA Play Pro.
Yep.
So I'm one of these weirdos that spends like fucking, I don't know. When you work it out, it's probably £300 a year.
On gaming.
to play like 3
and you
games.
don't claim yourself to be a gamer, yeah. It's funny that you're probably spending more money on games than you ever did.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Yeah. But it's the convenience of it as well, isn't it? And Starfield falls under that. It was just a case of, I think it took about 40 minutes to obviously download the whole thing onto the Xbox. But
Stephen, I pay that for EA Play Pro.
Yeah.
You're probably talking £160-70 or something a year. But then one game comes out, FIFA or EA Sports FC, whatever the fuck it's called. The Ultimate Edition version's like £80. So that's half the annual subscription.
Yep.
I get that preloaded. I get in to play it a week before everybody else.
Exactly.
Madden, play it before everybody else. Jedi Survivor, play it before everybody else.
Yeah.
I've got all those games. That's it paid for. F1 23. 4 games.
One thing I don't think
paid
they have got, I might be wrong, John. I don't see any golf games.
Oh, they have. Oh, yeah, on EA Play.
EA Play.
EA Play Pro,
right.
Yeah, they've got PGA Tour or something.
I'm talking about Game Pass.
Game Pass has got elements of EA Play, I think. It's not got the Pro version though, where you get like the latest games immediately. But I mean, come on, you can't whack it. You're getting so many incredible games.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's well worth it. But this game, Steve, it doesn't surprise me it's dropped down. People expected so much. They'd been waiting such a long time for it that when they ultimately discovered it was way below what they expected, the butt hurtness came out right away.
Yeah.
And you've got the sort of tribalism.
Yeah.
People saying, no, it's an amazing game. Just doubling down. It's amazing. I'm having such a wonderful time. Yous are all wrong. Yous are just bitter little quaver-eating basement dwellers. And they're like, well, no, you're a bitter
What's it
eating fucking basement cave dweller troglodyte. This game's shit. And they like to attack each other. The reality is probably somewhere in the middle. It's probably a distinctly average game. And I've just not got the time to spend 50, 60 hours on a game. I've got a dog. I've got a fucking job. We do this. And I've got other games that I much prefer playing. If I can moonwalk in 360 a killer on Dead by Daylight and break someone's day in like 5 minutes, why would I possibly want to spend 50 hours playing this? Yeah. If I can go on and fucking annihilate some 17-year-old kid and end the world on EAFC online, why the fuck? I mean, I'm someone who gets more pleasure out of mentally deconstructing people, taking them apart. And breaking them.
Like that, though, John.
Yeah.
Even back in Call of Duty days.
Yeah, I love breaking people. I love it. I get a sick, perverse pleasure out of fucking winding people up to the point where they message you.
There's a buzz about that, though.
Oh, Steve, I mean, FIFA back in the day, all you're doing is keeping the ball. It's football, you fucking gimp. That's what you do.
All you haven't, you can't score.
All you're doing is knocking it about. I'm playing with Barcelona, mate. That's the way they play. If you watch football, I do. I go every second week, sometimes more. That's the way football's played. If you can't hack it, fucking get out, bitch. Who won? Me. And I tend to do very well in those games. So that's I think that's we spoke about evolution. That's evolution for me.
Yeah.
In gaming, I've went from slow-paced single-player RPG games to just online-centric, quick-paced. I'm not got enough time.
Annoy people,
people. Yeah. Or Jedi, if it's got a really incredible story, like Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Man, that is a fucking game, Stephen. That is a game. It's a buggy game. It keeps crashing. And I've got an unbelievable PC, so it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a game. But fuck me, that's a story done well. It's linear, slightly sandboxy open, but my God, man. So much better than that. Not even close. I started playing that last week. I've not put that back on. Not put it back on, man. See when you've got the long hair, you're going for the Obi-Wan look. You've got the violet lightsaber and it's like Darth Maul double-bladed and you're just wrecking the fuck out of Rancor. Why would you ever want to go back to that? Why?
Yeah.
And I won't be back.
Yeah.
Are we done?
We're done, yeah.
What's your thoughts on SRK's Jawan? I had to read it there. Ready to topple Triple R's box office record in the United States of America. Share your thoughts down below. What's the better film? Have you seen both? Is SRK's Jawan? I'm just going to keep referring to it as SRK's Jawan, not Jawan. Because realistically it is Jawan. He is Jawan. He is Jawan. He's playing the character, but the movie is him. It's all about him. Share thoughts down below about the movie, about the box office situation. Share thoughts down below about Martin Scorsese coming out and saying the movie industry, Hollywood, is over. Nobody's wanting to watch my films anymore. Nobody's into crime films anymore. Gangster films. Nobody wants to see the same movie I was making 40 years ago. The industry's over. It's over for you, Martin. You're over. I'll watch that film, but I'm not expecting much. I'll not be Taxi Driver or Raging Bull or Goodfellas, which I've never seen, by the way. I need to watch it.
I could do a watch along.
You do a watch along to Goodfellas. I've seen clips from it, but I've not seen the film. It's impossible not to see Ray Liotta laughing like a fucking maniac in that film. It's everywhere. What's your thoughts on the sort of fall from grace for Starfield? It's fell below Fallout 76 now on the Steam database. I think that is DB. Anything you feel compelled to share can go down below in the comments section. That's the place to put your thoughts. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Hit the follow button, notifications button over on Twitch, and like and follow the podcast on Spotify podcast. Also have to be said, however, is until the next time, me and Stephen are done. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. That's the wrong macro. There we go. Solved. Bye-bye.